activities, we see transitions. Morning, afternoon, and in the evening. As Brahmana, we perform Gayatri during these transitions. Very important. When one is ending and another one is beginning, that is the transition. Similarly, every activity has the beginning, the middle, the end. So here Srila Prabhupada, when he is starting a new canto, he is thinking and offering his obeisances. That's what more about chapter 1, text 1. So let's go into text 2. Akutim ruchaye pradad api bharatam matim nirpaha putrika dharmam asritya sataroopanumoditaha. Akuti, Ruchaya, unto the great sage, Ruchi, Pradat, handed over, Api, although, brother, Matim, daughter, having a brother, Nripa, the king, Putrika, get the resultant son, Dharmam, religious rights, Asritya, taking shelter, Satarupa, by wife of Swayambhuva Manu, Anumoditaha, being sanctioned. Translation: Akuti had two brothers, but in spite of her brothers, King Swayambhuva Manu handed her over to Prajapati Ruchi on the condition that the son born of her be returned to Manu as his son. This he did in consultation with his wife Satarupa. Purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhakti Vedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Sometimes a sonless person offers his daughter to a husband on a condition that his grandson be returned to him to be adopted as his son and inherit his property. This is called Putrika Dharma, which means that by execution of religious rituals, one gets a son, although one is sonless by one's own wife. But here we see extraordinary behavior in Manu, for in spite of having two sons, he handed over his first daughter to Prajapati Ruchi on the condition that the son born of his daughter be returned to him as his son. Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakura comments in this connection that the king Manu knew that the Supreme Personality of Godhead would take birth in the womb of Akuti. Therefore, in spite of having two sons, he wanted the particular son born of Akuti because he was ambitious to have the son, to have the Supreme Personality of Godhead appear as his son and grandson. Manu is the lawgiver of mankind, and since he personally executed the Putrika Dharma, we may accept that such a system may be adopted by mankind also. Thus, even though one has a son, if he wants to have a particular son from one's daughter, one may give one's daughter in charity on that condition. That is the opinion of Srila Jiva Goswami. I will also read the text 3. Text 3. Prajapati sa Bhagavan ruchistasyam ajijnanad mittunam brahmavars chasvi paramena samadhina. Prajapati, one who is entrusted with begetting children, Saha, he, Bhagavan, the most opulent, Ruchihi, the great sage Ruchi, Tasyam, in her, Ajijnanat, gave birth, Mitunam, couple, Brahma Varchasvi, spiritually very much powerful, Paramena, with great strength, Samadhina, in trance, Ruchi, Translation: Ruchi, who was very powerful in his Brahminical qualification and was appointed one of the progenitors of the living entities, begot one son and one daughter by his wife Akuti, purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki jai. The word Brahma Varchasvi is very significant. Ruchi was a Brahmana and he executed the Brahminical duties very rigidly. As stated in the Bhagavad Gita, the Brahminical qualifications are control of the senses, control of the mind, cleanliness within and without, development of spiritual and material knowledge, simplicity, truthfulness, faith in the Supreme Personality of Godhead, etc. There are many qualities which indicate Brahminical personality, and it is understood that Ruchi followed all the Brahminical principles rigidly. Therefore, he is specifically mentioned as Brahma Varchasvi, one who is born of a Brahmana father but does not act as a Brahmana in the Vedic language, a Brahmana Bandhu, and is calculated to be on the level of Sudras and women. Thus, in the Bhagavatam, we find that Mahabharata was specifically compiled by Vyasadeva for Sri Shudra Brahma Bandhu. Sri means women, Sudra means the lower class of civilized human society, and Brahma Bandhu means persons who are born in the family of a Brahmanas but do not follow the rules and regulations carefully. All of these three classes are called less intelligent. They have no access to the study of Vedas, which are specifically meant for persons who have acquired the Brahminical qualifications. This restriction is based not upon any sectarian distinctions but upon qualification. The Vedic literatures cannot be understood unless one has developed the Brahminical qualification. It is regrettable, therefore, that the person who have no Brahminical qualification and have never been trained under a bona fide spiritual master, nevertheless comment on Vedic literatures like Srimad Bhagavatam and other Puranas, for such person cannot deliver the real message. Ruchi was considered a first-class Brahmana. Therefore, he mentioned here as Brahma Varchasvi, one who had full prowess in Brahminical strength. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthabitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kada Mahyam Tadati Swapatantikam Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prastaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvisesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshadarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Mukam karoti vachalam pangam langayati girim yatkripa tamham mandi Shri Gurum Dheena Tarinim Paramananda Madhavam Shri Chaitanya Ishwaram Jnananandamayam Devam Nirmalaspati Kakritamadaram Sattva Vidyanam Hayagrivam Upasmahe. So this is chapter 1 of Canto 4, text 2 and 3 that we are reading. So let us talk before getting into this about who is Prajapatis and what are the roles to get a better context. Praja means living beings, or Pati means Lord or the protector. So living beings or progeny and protector. Pati means the protector. Prajapati literally means the Lord or the progenitor of living beings. So, in Srimad Bhagavatam, Prajapati is clearly defined in various chapters, especially in Canto 3, 6, where it is said that Prajapati is divinely empowered creator. Divinely empowered creator. I mean, like we are, we are, we are, we are also created, okay, but we are not the creator. We are created, but not the creator. So Prajapatis are empowered. They have given the empowerment, and they are divinely for the divine purpose. They are empowered, created, and what is the purpose? And who has empowered them? They were empowered or appointed by Lord Brahma, and ultimately on the direction of Lord Vishnu. So Lord Vishnu and Lord Brahma has created these Prajapatis with empowerment to generate, guide, and regulate population in the universe. That is the purpose, especially through righteous family life. So Lord Brahma has empowered these Prajapatis and under the order of Lord Vishnu, and they have the responsibility to generate, guide, and regulate population, because Lord Brahma is the first living being, and he is the first engineer for the universe. He is developing the engineering aspect of the universe, and he is giving the empowerment for generating populations in the universe. We have come across various Prajapatis like Daksha Prajapati, which we will be learning in this canto. Kardama Muni, we learned about Kardama Muni in canto 3, and Marichi, Atri, Pulasya, Pulaha, Kritu, Brihu, Vasishta, and Kasyapa Prajapatis. So, this is the roles of the Prajapatis. Prajapati, they were appointed and empowered beings. They are also living beings, but they are empowered beings. So, that is the context of Prajapati. And here, Swayambhuva Manu has three daughters. As mentioned, one is Akuti, Devahuti, uh, and what is that? Let me go 1 second. Akuti, Devahuti, and Prasuti, as mentioned in Canto 1, okay, chapter text 1. So we have learned about Devahuti on the previous chapter. Devahuti is the daughter of Swayambhuva Manu, one, and she was married to Kardama Muni, wonderful Prajapati here, which we talked about. And they had both Kardama Muni and Devahuti had the Supreme Personality of Godhead as the son, Kapila Dev. Kapila Dev is the Supreme Personality who was born, and we learned in the previous two chapters of third canto, where he is instructing his own mother Devahuti on the knowledge of devotional services. So now here Akuti, the other daughter, where it says the Akuti had two brothers, and in spite of the two brothers or the two male child that Swayambhuva Manu has, Akuti was married to Prajapati Ruchi. Prajapati Ruchi is a wonderful Brahmana, both, and he has the ultimate Brahmanical qualities and the power to execute those qualities. That is mentioned in the next verse. So Prajapati Ruchi was married, and Akuti was given to Prajapati Ruchi on one condition that Swayambhuva Manu has requested. That is, what is the condition is, when a son is born between Swayambhuva Manu's daughter Akuti and Prajapati Ruchi, that son must be returned to Manu as his son. This he did in consultation with his wife Shatarupa. So, this is called here, Srila Prabhupada is mentioning here that sonless person offer his daughter to husband, to a husband on a condition that the grandson should be returned to be adopted son and inherit his property. So the importance of son and importance of inheritance of his property and the last rites and religious rites has to be performed by sons are very important. But in this case, it's called as a putrika dharma, which means execution of religious rituals. One gets a son, and one is sonless by his own wife. But here we already know that Akuti has two brothers. But why is Swayambhu Manu doing this? Because it's an extraordinary behavior in spite of having two sons, because the first daughter given to Prajapati Ruchi, the son of the daughter should be returned. So Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur is giving that he knows, the Swayambhu Manu knows that the womb of Akuti, the son on the womb of Akuti, the womb of Akuti is going to have a particular son. That is, the Supreme Personality of Godhead is going to appear as his son and grandson, because it's a combination of son and grandson, because technically it is one, biologically it is only a grandson, but because of the Putrika Dharma, the grandson is also going to be son who is going to inherit his property and perform the religious duties. So Manu, being the lawgiver of mankind, and he knows this very well about the Putrika Dharma. And we may accept that such a system may be adopted by mankind, because Manu is the law for mankind, and he is adopting this religious Putrika Dharma, and it's also setting a stage for people who have no sons to incorporate this Putrika Dharma. That is what mentioned. Even though one has a son, if he wants a particular son from one's daughter, one may give one's daughter in charity on that condition. So that is what Srila Goswami is talking about this on the text number 2. Going back to text number 3, I start glorifying about Prajapati Ruchi. Prajapati Ruchi is a very, very powerful in his Brahmanical qualification and was appointed as one of the progenitors of the living entities. So we learned the Prajapatis are empowered for a purpose to generate, guide, and populate the universe. So Lord Brahma, on behalf of Lord Vishnu, has created and appointed qualified Prajapatis. It's not that no quota system or nothing. So he has very carefully handpicked, and Prajapati Ruchi was handpicked as a progenitor because he has the high-powered Brahmanical qualifications. Here he is glorified as Brahma Varchasvi. That's very significant. Brahma Varchasvi means one who he has executed Brahmanical duties very rigidly. We learned from Bhagavad Gita, chapter 18, where it talks about the Brahmanical qualifications, like Ajarva, external cleanliness, Saucham, or various qualities like internal cleanliness, external cleanliness, urge to speak, and so many things. Arjavam, steadfastness. There are various Brahmanical qualities listed, and he has practiced and performed those qualities very carefully, and he has lived by those principles. And that is why he has been awarded as a Brahma Varchasvi. On the other end, one who is just born in a Brahmanical family by birth, but does not perform any of the Brahmanical qualities, is known as Brahma Bantu. Just by birth, but no qualities, no qualification, no Brahmanical qualification. In that case, he is called as a Brahma Bantu, and he is on the level of Sudras or women. And Bhagavatam, we can find in Mahabharata, compiled by Srila Vyasadeva, is meant for Sri, Sudra, and Brahma Bantu. Because Sri means women, Sudra is lower class of a civilized human society, And Brahma Bantu means persons who are born in the family of Brahmanas but do not follow the regulations. So Mahabharata was specifically compiled for these three classifications. And these three classes are called less intelligent because they have no access to study of Vedas. And um, they are much absorbed in the material aspects and access to the careful awardness that is being given or association that they can facilitate are very restricted. That's why they are called as less intelligent. And the restriction is not based on any sectarian distinction. Srila Prabhupada is very firmly saying it's not a sectarian, but upon qualification. Qualification one has adopted. The Vedic literatures cannot be understood unless one has developed the Brahminical qualifications. So it is regrettable that the person who have no Brahminical qualification and have never been trained under the bona fide spiritual master, nevertheless comment on Vedic literatures like Srimad Bhagavatam or other Puranas. They cannot deliver any real meaningful message that is conveyed in those Srimad Bhagavatam and other Puranas. So qualification is not by birth. It is by learning those qualification by getting trained under the bona fide spiritual master, one who has taken initiation, serving the spiritual master and getting that qualification and practicing that qualification on a daily basis is very important. And anyone other than that, just by birth and performing communicating the message has no real deliverance. And Ruchi was not one of those Prajapati. Ruchi was called first class Brahmana, and therefore he is mentioned here again as Brahma Varchasvi, one who had full prowess in Brahminical strength. So here again, we again mentioning Swayambhuva Manu he has given his daughter Akuti to this Prajapati Ruchi, who is Brahma Varchasvi, who is full of prowess in Brahminical strength and perform his duties on one condition. Here is the son that will be delivered by her daughter Akuti should be given back as his son. In other words, grandson should be given back to Swayambhuva Manu as his son on the Putrika Dharma aspect. So that is the end of chapter 4. Canto 4, chapter 1, text 2 and 3. If there are any discussions or any comments or anything that I have not mentioned very carefully, please open for discussion. If there are any good insights or anything that really touched your heart, that glories goes to my spiritual master and my seniors, and anything that I have misspoken, that is my shortcomings. Thank you.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Yeah, it's interesting to see because Devahuti's son is also Lord Vishnu. So, but here he is asking the grandson, right? There he didn't say. So, I was just thinking about it. So,
Yeah, even I don't know which Swayambhuva Manu will be revealing.
yeah.
Acharyas will
I
be
don't remember
revealing.
what I read, but yeah, I was just thinking. So, and also, I mean, of course, when Kapila Muni, right? We don't hear his childhood pastimes and all.
Right.
And so, there's nothing given. I mean, anyway, I was just thinking about that.
No. Yesterday I also heard the same thing. Like, who is that son and why he is asking? That is been assigned to more qualified speakers than me, so I will be happy to learn from them, Prabhu.
Okay, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
All right, is there any more questions? Otherwise, I give back 2 more minutes.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Then,
Hare Krishna.
thank you. Thank you, Prabhu, for wonderful class. I have a quick question in this Putrika Dharma. When a daughter, a father, gives the first son to the father as his son, right? That's what this verse is talking about, Putrika Dharma. But we also have a tradition of marrying the brother to the daughter, right? The daughter's daughter can marry his brother, right? Mama.
Yes.
So in this case, they both are brothers and sisters, right? How that is a dharma? One side it is a conflict, other side it is like a dharma. So I'm just trying to understand how these things becomes one side dharma, the other side not appropriate. Do you have any thoughts, Prabhu?
I don't have much, Prabhu. One I know that is not recommended in these days because of health wise, which it's coming very closely to the same biological patterns and not recommended. But this is the first time I'm learning about the Putrika Dharma aspect. Not much, Prabhu. The earlier days that was in system, like if I have a daughter and I can give to my daughter can marry her uncle, that was in practice. I don't know how much it's supported Vedically, or it is just as a customary they were practicing that. I don't have much insight on that, Prabhu. I don't want to speculate.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, then what's going on?
Hare Krishna, Mataji.
Yeah, nice persons. And I have one more person because she has only one son, right, Akuti? If she has more sons, then she can give to father. But the only son she has, and how can she give it back to her?
Very nice thought, Mataji. I have not met Akuti personally. I don't know. I don't know. Like, we will be learning more about those contexts in the subsequent verses. So here, their intentions are for higher cause. How the Supreme Lord is coming. Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur is saying that Swayambhuva Manu is not an ordinary person. He is the law for mankind. And he is asking for a specific purpose that is yet to be revealed in the upcoming verses in Canto 4. And he's not asking whimsically. That we will be learning about it, Mataji. And also, when it is being asked, whether it is a daughter or other person, when it is asked for a higher cause, they oblige to that. That's my understanding, Mataji. They cannot say that I only have one. That is in today's practice or in Kali Yuga practice. It's more centered towards me rather than for a supreme cause. That's my small understanding, Mataji. We will be learning more about it in the subsequent verses. That will unfold. All right, so it's 8:02. Thank you very much for all your time on Monday morning. And it's a very cold morning. Please stay safe and have a blissful rest of your day. Hare Krishna. Vanchakalpatarubhyasya kripa sindhubhya cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Anantakoti Vaishnava Brinda ki jai. Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Thank you.